Alright, good evening again. Let's start with a moment and maybe a few prayers to begin this satsang. a few simple pointers. Pointers of the basic state of our mind, of our heart, of our energy. I think that most who are joining this satsang, you have some mileage, some experience of practice. So you're already familiar with aspect of the basic state, which is the clarity aspect. That there is this clarity of mind, that it's just very clear. Clarity of mind. Often used analogy is a diamond, a transparent jewel that is completely clear. Doesn't have cracks or stains, but completely clear. And this clarity covers our whole being. It's all over our being. And it doesn't need to be placed in our being, it's already there. Just need to be recognized. And when we do, there is a sense of becoming clearer, but also lighter. There is a sense of unburdening. Clarity. We can do a little bit of a rainbow jewel visualization from Rainbow Body Yoga to help us with this. So take a snapshot, feel your body from head to toe. Feel the skin, and then feel the space inside the skin. Automatically, when I say that, whether you have a lot or a little experience of meditative practices, the skin is there already, and the skin feels. It feels both in and out. So when I say, feel the space inside the body, inside the skin, already automatically through our tactile sense, there is like a clear felt sensation, or you could say clear felt image of the space. So we're not thinking about bones or blood vessels or organs, physical stuff, just a space. And the skin is like like we have Chinese lamps that we can put, lamps we can hang in the ceiling that are made of this thin white paper. So it's like that thin white paper, the skin. There is space inside the skin, and there is space outside it. And the space outside has another type of white paper, which is the edge of the aura. I often say that Well, it requires some sensitivity to feel exactly where the outer edge of the aura is. But at the same time, it's not that complex. So you can just feel into the space around your body in all directions, about 1.3, 1.4, 1.5 meters from the skin. So you know roughly where the edge of the aura is, and then simply sense in a very gentle way, not in a rough, concentrated way, where your mind is like a laser beam. Concentration is like a laser beam. That's very masculine. So you have to be kind of like a feminine type of application of concentration where you are receptive. And when you're receptive, you're able to feel. Through feeling comes experiences, sensations that are the path. So try to get some sense of your aura. Feel the upper dome of the aura above your head, above your body, the upper dome of it, like a, you understand what a dome means, D-O-M-E, dome. You can scan around the upper dome. And then scan around the central part of the aura, around the body, in the front, on the left, behind, on the right. If you're not completely sure about where the outer edge of the aura is, I often say that, well, in that case you can just expand the sphere of mindfulness, the sphere of awareness, farther than that 1.3, 1.5 meters. Maybe you can think of space 2 meters around you. And then you can be sure that your personal energy field, aura, is covered. I'm saying that point now just so that you're not only, when you're scanning through the aura around your body, that you're not too close to the skin, that you're not too close. So expand it. It's not a, you can just expand it, like I said, 2 meters, and it covers it. And then thirdly, feel into the lower dome of the aura below your body. Around your lower body. So now we have some basic sense of the space of the body and space of the aura. And of course, this space is simply the space of your personal energetics. The energy body extends much farther in terms of the vertical pillar below and above the body, as well as the channels. The nadi channels, they extend beyond the edge of the aura. But here we are coming to applying briefly the rainbow jewel from Rainbow Body Yoga. At first, I was speaking about the clarity. So this is the clarity of empty clarity of Dharmakaya, the body of phenomena that I am getting to and we are getting to. So now that you have some sense of the body space and aura space, imagine that there is completely clear and pure diamond filling both spaces. Take snapshots here and there of the visualization, or if it's easy, if visualization is easy for you, you can just scan through the visualized image. And as you do, you can't avoid noticing the shift that happens in your energy. And that shift is from impure to pure. There was never a moment when you didn't have this potential. But plenty when it went unnoticed and unrecognized. Make sure that the diamond connects with the whole body space, and especially the inside your chest, in your heart center area. Heart is the main area where the nadi system, where the nadis shoot out into the space of the body, as well as into the space of the aura and beyond it. Heart is the main area where the nadis shoot out from the center line. In terms of deities, many of you practice deities of Rainbow Body Yoga, some of you yet don't. But in terms of deities, this is Vajrasattva, diamond clarity, stainless clarity. As you're visualizing it and having that felt sensation, felt experience, recognized experience of this clarity, see if you can relax your physical body and your subtle body without losing any of that clarity. Kind of just let your body and its tensions, mind and its graspings melt into it. Oh, very good. So you don't need to hold on to it. It's self-sustaining. Though if it self-sustains at night, you probably won't sleep too well. A little joke. So make sure that the clarity of the diamond connects with your whole body, your whole aura, and also the heart. Just feel it inside your heart. It's an interesting experience, isn't it? Now if we think of our everyday lives, now that we are in this experience of clarity of the basic state, compare, just think about, recall your daily experience. How is that clarity, how is that diamond stained and dirtied by different memories, thoughts, reactions, habits? Isn't it? It is as if the guests have begun dictating rules to the lord of the house. And yet, it is our own psyche, our own mind. All of it is our own mind. So we can't, well, you could chop off your limbs. If you don't like your left arm, you can chop it off, but it's there because to use it. Same thing with the mind, same thing with habits, patterns, self-based habits, reactions. Opinions might be limited and deluded, but this is just misinterpretation over foundational misunderstandings. So first thing, always when working with, whether working with nadis, bhumis, causal body, or traumas or some grosser, in Buddhism it's spoken as poisons of the mind, like anger, desire. So stuff of the astral body, meridians, always make friends first. Because like I said, it is not smart to chop off your physical limbs, and similarly, allegorically, you cannot chop off your anger, self-hatred, greed, desire, and so on. You cannot chop it off. You cannot push it away and keep it away. So first thing, according to Buddha Dharma, make friends. Don't fight your darkness. Don't fight your habits. Make friends with it. Make friends. What does it mean? If we meet somebody who we don't know, and that person is in some, let's say, angry state of mind. Maybe some person who is having like an angry fit in the subway or something, yelling, screaming, and throwing arms around. This is perfect analogy for our internal reactions, isn't it? So what is the smartest thing? Assuming, if we think of the physical analogy, if we, are safe, we feel that we're safe, there is much more hope in getting to somewhere that is healthy, helpful, fruitful, and natural if we first make friends with the anger or a person who's having an angry fit. Simply by saying, well, this is simplification, but with your own anger or anxiety, depression, you can say to it, let's be friends. Let's be friends. Instead of me trying to force you or rule you, trying to force that anger or desire, be it sexual desire or whatever desire, not fighting it, but creating a bridge of friendship so that opens a door to something fruitful. And that's an interesting point. I wrote something in Facebook a few days ago about the problemacy of solving problems in yoga practice. We all sometimes create a problem for ourselves with the mindset that whether we are working with bhumis or meridians or both, that we go after the next stage or the next experience of insight. We start chasing it. We go about solving problems. But that never works. It immediately, no matter how mantras you might be saying or jewels you might be visualizing, it immediately puts the system in a, lockdown. that's a familiar word. It locks things down. So that is not helpful, but you can still do your practice. Whatever technique or techniques you're practicing, whatever mantras, deities, guru yogas you're practicing, always fundamentally supported by Mahayana motivation, bodhicitta. And when you practice, simply do your practice, then these signposts automatically come. So it sits very deep in our mind, this idea of slaying dragons, solving problems, attaining enlightenment. I wonder if Mahasiddhas of the past, if they purposefully use that phrase that I have used countless times, the phrase of attaining enlightenment. Because it is misleading. For the reason that there is no one who attains. There is arriving, and there are experiences that emulate this arrival, but there is no one who arrives. So if we go after attaining Buddhahood, it is problematic for this reason. Nevertheless, it is true, it happens. Many people in our Sangha have arrived, have attained purification of 10 bhumis, the karmic bhumis. Something, well, now I've been talking of a whole bunch of other things, continued when I started with clarity, but I will get there at one point. But one interesting thing about Buddha nature, the wakeful nature, soft nature, balanced nature of each one of us and of all sentient beings, and definitely of all Buddhas, is that it is very down to earth. The diamond, figuratively speaking, the diamond is not somewhere in the sky floating in etheric space, floating in this blue sky alone, apart from things and happenings and events. The pure qualities of the Buddha within are in every one of us. And this is not some, I realize that I speak with this meditation voice. Oh, relax. I don't mean to, sorry. But the thing is that this is not about fantasy. This is about reality. If I use a simple phrase, 2 words, simple presence, simply awake, simply present. Well, it's a little bit secular to my taste, a little bit too secular. But it delivers the point. There is so much more to Buddha nature than simple presence. But that simplicity is definitely one of the, how do you say, the sides of the diamond. So we started with clarity, and then we briefly visualized the jewel part of Rainbow Jewel. And then what we did is to get some sense of our daily reactions, self-based stuff, samsaric stuff. And it affects us, right? And this is, of course, how Buddha Dharma is very unique. I'm not speaking about Buddhism, the religion. I'm speaking of Buddha Dharma, the philosophy and its yogas, philosophy and its practical applications. So, one thing that is unique to Buddha Dharma is the principle of vipassana, which means seeing into the reality of mental and emotional things, our thoughts, emotions, reactions. In Tantra, vipassana is practiced through in Guru Yoga and in Deity Yoga, through mantras, through visualizations. This seeing through happens through these tantric techniques, also mudras, which is very important. So this seeing through and getting familiar and getting anchored and established in this diamond-like clarity in Tantra happens like that. But Tantrics also need to understand Sutra Vipassana. Without understanding Sutra Vipassana, the dark nights will become big and awful. So, Sutra Vipassana is practiced in the following way. When you're sitting, or when you are active somehow, drinking coffee, working, whatever, wherever you are, working in the garden, wherever you might be, whatever you might be doing, and you feel like, okay, there is some cloud, like a dark cloud of energy that is affecting you, that has appeared from your energy system, is felt, and you start feeling it. You start feeling that, oh, this energy is off. It is stinky, it is stuffy, and it's not clear. It's the opposite of clarity. It's the opposite of softness. It makes your tissues, the body, it makes your shoulders go up. It makes your stomach go tense. It makes your heart freeze. It squeezes you uncomfortably. How to apply Sutra Vipassana? Be aware of it. Make friends with it. And remain aware of it. Remain friends with it. Feel into the size, shape, and texture of this dark cloud. Whether it's the cloud of shame, guilt, anger, desire, whatever. Be aware of it and stay friends with it. It is also very helpful to, sometimes when that dark cloud comes up, you feel it, but you don't exactly know what it is. What is this? If you don't know what it is, find out. Anger is different from irritation. Irritation often leads to anger. Anger can lead to rage. These are already 3 gradations of the same energy: irritation, anger, rage. It can be depression. Depression leads to sense of meaninglessness, pointlessness. Anxiety can be mild or stronger. When anxiety increases, it leads to panic attacks. So study your own emotions and reactions and put a label on them. This is anxiety. This is depression. This is this, this is that. And then make friends with it and be aware of it. This is an excellent formula of Sutra Vipassana. Sutra style. Sutra means that it is not tantric. In Tantra we use mantras, visualizations, mudras, such techniques. In Sutra you just look your mind and work with your mind like that. So, like I said, tantrics need to understand Sutra Vipassana. Because if you don't, dark nights will get very bad when you don't know how to apply basic Sutra Vipassana instructions. So you will need, everybody needs Sutra Vipassana instructions probably sooner than later. When we go about practicing mantras, whatever they are, whether they are peaceful or wrathful mantras, and you keep repeating them in your mind, at some point that pure energy of the basic state through the deity, through the mantra, will hit something in your subconscious mind, some dark spot. And then from that dark spot, that energy of darkness, that dark cloud is released into the circulation. it's been suppressed there and maybe forgotten in the subconscious mind, and suddenly it's coming up. And this is the path. This is the practice. So, what is characteristic, typical to Vajrayana style of practice, tantric practice like we do, is to recognize this basic state. Its clarity, its softness, its groundedness through various tantric practices. But that's only first part. The second part is to look back into our self-based habits, trauma-based habits. And it is only through that darkness, through those dark clouds, that freedom comes about as it is defined in Buddha Dharma. What does it mean, freedom? It means that we get to know ourselves. We get to know ourselves as Buddhas and no longer remain as beings who are attached, deluded, samsaric. So that's how it all works. Very important principle to understand. And actually, in the teachings of Lord Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha, the great master and great lord of enlightenment of this age, this era that we live, he taught in 3 stages. He gave 3 types of teachings throughout his life to 3 types of students. And these periods of teaching are called turnings of the wheel of Dharma, which means that he simply taught 3 different points. You can say 3 different methods, because they relate directly to 3 different vehicles. Tantra or Vajrayana being the third of them. But the previous 2, first turning of the wheel and second turning of the wheel, are focused on, selflessness or emptiness through bhumis 1 through 6. This is the Shravakayana, Hinayana terrain. First turning of the wheel. Second turning of the wheel is emptiness teachings and bodhicitta teachings, the bodhisattva path, bodhisattvayana, of bhumis 7 through 10. But my point is that for the first 2, first and second turnings of the wheel of Dharma, Buddha taught about this emptiness terrain from bhumis 1 through 6, and actually also including the meridian system, partially at least. So Shakyamuni Buddha put a lot of emphasis on this, what I just explained. A lot of emphasis on that clarity, which through Vipassana, whether sutric or tantric, when we apply this practice, this principle, it releases our thoughts and emotions into this body of empty phenomena. And this is what Buddhist liberation or Buddhist enlightenment is. We all have been there when our thoughts and emotions are problems for us. And these emotional states that we went through a moment ago, they just bother us. They make us small, constricted, limited, makes us feel awful. Together with this notion of I or self, me, as an independent entity. So, but fundamentally, no problem with thoughts, emotions, or notion of self. Through Vipassana, we become liberated of this, sense of me or I, sense of entityness. And then we no longer have problem with thoughts and emotions. They are no longer problematic, no longer restrict our energy or disturb our energy. That's the jewel of Dharma. And that's what we take refuge in. So when we speak about Dharmakaya, which is a technical term, which literally means phenomena, body. Body of phenomena. It's one of the bodies of Buddha. The same Buddha that is already in us. And through Vipassana, we can make our self-based mind or self-based body transform or return it back to body of empty phenomena or pure phenomena. I was speaking about Shakyamuni Buddha, mentioning him a few times. And what always happens when we are practicing together like this, or when we might be sitting at home alone or with our friend and we come to think of Dharma teachings and masters and mention their names, and it invites them. It's kind of like I mentioned Shakyamuni, Lord Buddha's name, and I didn't even kind of mean to do it to invite him, but it's kind of like his phone number was dialed in and he already picked the phone. Which is a sign of incredible friendship, really. Incredible availability. And that same principle of friendship, maitri, metta, that same principle of feel of availability, which is a feature of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, is in us already. Generosity. The perfection of generosity. Dana paramita. So, with love, with devotion, with dedication, I am inviting Shakyamuni Buddha's blessings to each one of us, to us together as a group. Ultimately to benefit all sentient beings. I'll sing Shakyamuni Buddha's mantras to you a few times. Just listen. Om Amrita Shakyamuni Buddhayai Namaha. 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 Stay with the charge. Let's continue lying down. We still have an hour to go, and I was kind of hoping to have some space for discussion, but let's continue with practice. Just a moment, something happened here. All right, take two. Shakyamuni's presence and charge can still be felt. And maybe it's a good moment to. We spoke about emptiness and vipassana, and Lord Buddha's turning of the wheel of Dharma. That are three altogether. And like I said, the first two deal with emptiness principle. So it's actually, to be exact, it's called selflessness. When it comes to the first turning of the wheel, selflessness, which is an English rendition of the word anatta or anatman, which means literally no self. But nevertheless, we know that teachings of the first wheel of Dharma deal with, let's say, foundation of selflessness / emptiness, meaning from bhumis 1 through 6. And then technically it's correct to say that the Mahayana terrain of emptiness deals with the bhumis 7 through 10. But anyhow, the first two turnings of the wheel of Dharma deal with the principle of selflessness, emptiness. And myself, I often use these terms interchangeably, just because emptiness, it's not very good rendition of the Sanskrit word shunyata, which means means like a zeroness, resting in a zero. Shunya literally means zero. So that's why the English word emptiness is not very good, but selflessness is better. Although it's when we speak of first turning and second turning, Hinayana and Mahayana, there's big difference there actually. Big difference in terms of range or depth of insight and wisdom. But the third turning of the wheel is something interesting, and it no longer deals with wisdom aspect. It doesn't deal with wisdom aspect anymore. And one thing that is also part of the previous two turnings and the corresponding element, like a partner, like a spouse of wisdom, is compassion. This is already part of especially Mahayana, where it's like a central teaching, central tenet, if you can say that in English. So wisdom and compassion are the two main principles of Mahayana, already included in second turning. And the third turning, the third stage that Shakyamuni Buddha taught, no longer deals with emptiness of things, no longer deals with compassion either. Not in the way that it is dealt with in second turning. The third turning, it's philosophically called Shentong. I don't actually, that's Tibetan, I don't know what it is in Sanskrit, but it deals with the fullness and richness of Buddha nature. It deals with the fullness and richness of that basic nature that is recognized, familiarized, stabilized and established through the first two turnings, through emptiness. And this makes things very interesting. This point about Buddha nature, Tathagata Garbha in Sanskrit, Tathagata Garbha, translated as Buddha nature, because it is the utterly pure and positive world that we are born into and further cultivate with the teachings of the third turning of the wheel of Dharma. Utter purity, utter positivity, or like is said in one of the deities in Rainbow Body Yoga is Kunzang Gyalpo, which is Guru Rinpoche's aspect of the 13th Bhumi. Kunzang means foundational goodness, which is short for Kuntuzangpo, which is Tibetan, which is Samantha Padra in Sanskrit. Basic goodness, foundational goodness of our own nature. Foundational goodness. And the richness, fullness, completeness of it. This is in every one of us. And it's not like a small flame or a small spark of kindness. It's completely, completely not born out of kindness, but resting, abiding in kindness, full of kindness. Loaded with kindness. Not erratic, samsaric kindness, where there's restlessness mixed with it, lesser, murky motivations mixed with it, but pure kindness. Again, we come to the principle of friendliness, maitri, metta, loving kindness. And what do you feel? How does this experience feel like? To which subtle body it connects to? We have two, one made of nadis, one made of meridians. You already know that wisdom emptiness deals with nadis, bhumi terrains. How about this third turning of the wheel of Dharma? Richness, fullness, kindness. That's right, it's a meridian terrain. So in the three turnings, Lord Buddha already taught about the light body and rainbow body. He told about the twofold enlightenment consisting of one wisdom, two light body. Utter kindness. Perfect love. Not selfish love, not the love based on attachments, but just radiation of natural or original love, which is in our basic nature already. So interestingly, Shakyamuni Buddha felt it necessary to first teach about emptiness and wisdom. And then he continued with these Tathagata Garbha Buddha nature teachings, where you meditate, contemplate, practice about these pure qualities that our Buddha nature already has. And this makes it bodily. It immediately, there's a paradigm shift, because you're no longer bothered about self-based habits and patterns. Your mind already rests in this Dharmakaya, body of empty phenomena. So then, with the third turning, there's a paradigm shift. You're no longer confused about existence. You're no longer confused about different types of meditations or states of mind, because your mind rests in this selfless experience during thoughts, during emotions, during reactions. But nevertheless, there is still like a whole path, method and methodology with the third turning, with the contemplation of this, how this Buddha nature is. And this brings about the transformation of tissues, transformation of body. Which leads to the original body of light, a rainbow body. But often when learning about Shakyamuni Buddha and his teachings, practices, this is not understood and not told. He's not presented like this. But Guru Yoga with him makes it very clear that, through his transmission, through feeling his bodies, his subtle bodies, we can simply look at him, feel him, take him in, and feel that his mind rests in wisdom and that he has this light body, rainbow body. And this process of first emptiness, wisdom body, and then light body, it's also how it is done in traditions and lineages of Mahasandhi, great perfection lineages, Chokchen lineages. This is how we do it in Amrita Mandala also. Well, one can choose to first work with the path of healing and light, if you choose to, or focus on path of wisdom and clarity, or practice both at the same time, depending on different factors, how much there is time for practice, and so on, how much there is rest available, and things like that. But utter kindness. Kindness that is loaded with peacefulness, harmony, balanced kindness, full kindness. Not blissed out, not momentary. See how deeply you can just relax into it. Let go into it. Without holding, without grasping, without altering. And when we practice like this, meditating on this, not the nature of clarity, like that of a diamond, but our, let's say, energetic nature, energetic tones, hues, qualities. We were practicing rainbow jewel before, where the clarity, Dharmakaya, corresponds to the jewel. But here we are working with the body of colors. That's what I mean with tones and hues. Just like in rainbow. Colors of a rainbow, the variety of colors. One color turning into another color. That kind of nature. And when we only meditate its purity that are transmitted by every single Mahasiddha who has attained light body, Shakyamuni included, Guru Padmasambhava included, Ishanath included. we can really feel that it has different quality, different feel than just clarity. But when we keep practicing like this, revealing and then, what revealing of this original body of light means is that we purposefully kind of dig out this light body nature. And then for some time, just like in two-part formula, just like in Vipassana of the wisdom side, we first recognize the purity of it, the pure rainbow colors. If you can see your subtle body, if you can perceive, and if you're a seasoned practitioner, you should be able to perceive it. So that is one practice advice for Sangha members who've been at it, that you need to learn to perceive it. How you learn? You look at it. You find that experience. If you don't go looking for it, then you will not develop the skill. It's that simple. But when we recognize this pure rainbow nature of ours, that also has a very strong, there's rainbow lights, typically you see in tantric art, yellow, green, blue, red, different versions of them mixed with white also. But there's also golden light in our pure body. So golden and rainbows. But my point is that when you recognize this basic nature, then there starts coming up dark clouds from the astral body, called linga sharira in Sanskrit, which what we speak of as meridians in Amrita Mandala. And especially traumas, psychic injuries. What to do then? Make friends, remain friends, be aware, remain aware. And this is how you associate your basic nature of light body with your samsaric meridian system, with the outcome that your meridian system gets purified, gets returned to its natural condition, and that's what revealing the original body of light means in principle. Attaining of light body means. There are deities for this, gurus for this, practices like Amrita Kriya, simple forms and advanced forms of it. That's how to do it. But in terms of meditation, it is like I just explained. Recognize the purity and then associate. When dark clouds start coming up, make friends, be aware. Remain friends, remain aware. And when it comes to traumas, they come from total blind spots in your system. And that's why I would say, from my personal experience, that it's more difficult than when working with self-based notions of of pumis, because it's so deeply ingrained in your system, in your psychology, that there's completely blind spots from your radar, that it can be painful. Developmental traumas develop over decades in life. So for decades, day in, day out, there is something you didn't see, something painful you didn't see, something skewed, distorted that you didn't see, behaved, acted accordingly, this trauma, and you didn't see it all that time. That's why, in my experience, it's way more demanding to work with, to heal traumas, than to release dualistic notions of the self. Your experience might be different, but this is my experience. Nevertheless, that's how the practice works. That's how to go about it. Whether it is relatively easy for you, relatively difficult, the outcome is the same, which is purified meridian system, which together with purified nadi system equals twofold enlightenment. Wisdom body, light body. And that is full Buddhahood. Anuttara samyak sambodhi. Anuttara samyak sambodhi. This is the result of 3 turnings of the wheel of Dharma. The path is never easy, no matter who you are. It is never easy. But don't be discouraged. There will be many instances when we are tested by the darkness in our own being, when those dark clouds come up, one after the other, one following the other. One weak and month and year following the other. But nevertheless, have faith and don't be discouraged. Everybody is tested who embarks on this process, on this path. Everybody is tested. There's not a single person, not a single individual who is not tested. But have faith, for there are countless enlightened beings, Buddhas, men and women, who have done it, who have finished it, who have journeyed from beginning to end, from unawakened state, traumatized state, to fully enlightened state of Buddhahood. So have faith in that. Take faith in that. Take refuge in the Buddha, in Dharma, and also in the Sangha. So, even though it might feel that in darkest moments that I'm so alone and nobody's there to support me, nobody understands me, this is just your own. You're in the middle of a black cloud, dark cloud. So work your way through it. Bring light into the middle of that darkness. Use practices and take refuge. Strengthen your vows of a bodhisattva. Strengthen them, make them strong. Making one's vow strong makes you strong, makes you equipped, gives you tools. Gives you strength. So, we've had a wonderful satsang, wonderful practice session of Dharma this evening. And it is appropriate to bow and prostrate at the feet of Lord Buddha, Lord Shakyamuni. So full prostrations at his feet out of gratitude, out of offering ourselves. Also bows and prostrations to Buddhas and Mahasiddhas before him in history, on this planet and in other realms. Bows and prostrations to previous Buddhas before Shakyamuni. And bows and prostrations after him. Buddhas and Mahasiddhas after him on this planet and in all realms. Can you feel how many they are? Can you feel their energy, their presence? So many of them. And all of those Buddhas and Mahasiddhas were once like us, samsaric beings, deluded beings who hurt. And they took refuge, they took bodhisattva vows, generated bodhicitta, dedicated merit, just like we do. So many of them. It's beautiful, isn't it? And they are automatically, they are our friends. They are friends and available to anybody. All right, let's chant vows and prayers. I vow to liberate all sentient beings. I vow to end all self-based confusion. I vow to exercise the Dharma that frees. I vow to attain the great perfection. I vow to liberate all sentient beings. I vow to end all self-based confusion. I vow to exercise the Dharma that frees. I vow to attain the great perfection. I vow to liberate all sentient beings. I vow to end all self-based confusion. I vow to exercise the Dharma that frees. I vow to attain the great perfection. Always feel after mantras or prayers. Feel with your body and subtle bodies. I take refuge in the Guru. I take refuge in his pure land. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. I take refuge in the Guru. I take refuge in His pure land. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. I take refuge in the Guru. I take refuge in His pure land. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. I am the Guru, I'm in the pure land. I am the Buddha, I am the Dharma, I am the Sangha, I am the Guru, I'm in the pure land. I am the Buddha, I am the Dharma, I am the Sangha, I am the Guru, I'm in the pure land. I am the Buddha, I am the Dharma, I am the Sangha. May all beings be free. May all beings be free. May all beings be free. All beings are free. All beings are free. All beings May all beings receive my accumulated merit. I dedicate the merit to the refuge and to all sentient beings. Good, joining hands.